All right, looks like we're going to get started here. Welcome to another episode, my friends. Another episode of Sunday Night Alive Power Hour with your host, Soldier of Self-Mastery. We're going to be here over the next 30 minutes. We're broadcasting live here, streaming live. And first of all, I want to say that I appreciate those of you that are coming on board tonight that are going to be here with me over the next 30 minutes. I'm trying to fix my screen here. It's been a couple days. It's been a couple weeks. Actually, I've been under the weather. I truly hope that you are, wherever you are, my friend, I truly hope that you're doing well. I hope that your family's well. I hope that everything's going good with your business. Once again, this is your program. I'm kind of wondering what you have on your mind that you want to share with us, with me tonight. We're going to be dealing a little bit with the subconscious. We're going to be talking about the mind tonight in this program. We're going to handle a couple of tough questions here before we get started. How do you get yourself to do what you should that is very uncomfortable? How do you retrain yourself to become better? And third question here, of course, we got a broad program. Why is it so difficult, and why are so many looking for the fix-it pill? Right? Why are so many looking for the fix-it pill? Now, I've got a lot of announcements, or maybe just a few announcements. By the way, if you enjoy this program, if you enjoy our videos, if you enjoy what I'm doing here on social media, on YouTube, I would encourage you to donate financially. If you can give $30, if you can give $20, whatever you can give, whatever the Lord lays upon your heart, I'm very grateful. That goes towards whatever you give. You team up with me, that goes towards furthering this mission of helping more people, reaching more people, helping them believe that they too can break this curse, break the problem, gambling issue, cycle, whatever it is that they may have going on that's destroying them, or you for that matter. We're going to be back here every Sunday. We do have an episode. It depends on how my partner's working this out. Friday night alive. We're going to probably get back to doing that. We are going to be creating a mastermind group. It's going to be more of accelerated learning. There's going to be specific topics, and I'm not fully informed on that program. It is going to be a mastermind program. If you want to be a part of something that's going to be a little bit bigger than yourself, it's going to help you grow. It's going to help you see things. It's going to give you different perspective. We're going to get different insight from myself and from my business partner. If you're interested in something like that, subscribe to soldiersofselfmastery.com/happier. By the way, my subscription link is going to be at the top of the chat, so you can go through my my webpage. We now have a number that you can actually call. You can get a hold of us, possibly, and you can leave us a message, and of course, we will correspond, myself or Cephas. So we've got that going on. Again, we'll be back here on Sunday. We're going to be here about 30 minutes or so, taking on different topics, empowerment, self-improvement, mental challenges for us to be able to handle these three questions that we spoke about earlier, right? How do you get yourself to do what you should that is very uncomfortable? How do you retrain yourself to become better? What else did I have? I guess that's it. My book is back on Amazon. If you haven't purchased the Little Red Book, I would encourage you to do so. Again, the link that I have at the top of the chat will open up my webpage, my information, my contact, and anything else that you feel the need to tap into when it comes to my information. Now I want to read a proverb here real quick. Real quick, I want to read a proverb, and then we're going to get into the program. We're gonna talk about the subconscious. We're gonna talk about your conscious mind, and we're gonna deal with this topic of change and rapid, accelerated transformation. Are you interested in finding out what can help you accelerate transformation in your life? Is it possible to accelerate transformation, change, retraining of the mind? Is that possible with all everything, the new studies, the new research, the technology that we have going on in our world? Is it possible? Now, I'm reading a little bit out of this book of Galatians. It says, "O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ has been evidently set forth, crucified among you? This only would I learn of you, received ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the learning of faith? Are you so foolish? Having begun in the Spirit, are ye now made perfect by the flesh?" You know, there's a lot of scholars, there's a lot of, and I will acknowledge those of you that are on board here tonight. There's a lot of scholars, there's a lot of philosophers, there's a lot of researchers that talk about the mind. They talk about the subconscious. They talk about change. They talk about genes in the body, genes. They talk about cells and all of the things that go along with the biology. And we're learning a lot about the battle that you and I are involved with. The Bible refers to it as the spirit against the flesh against the spirit. The world has different terminologies when it comes to the mind, when it comes to the subconscious or the conscious thinking. Myself, personally, I tend to yield towards the spiritual things. I believe there's a creator. I believe there's a mastermind that is in control of everything that is going on. Furthermore, I believe that he's in control of our lives. I don't completely understand it all. It's still a very, very mysterious to me, but I do believe that because I'm a believer in the Bible. Now, I'm not a church person. I'm not a church goer. I'm not going to advocate church. That's not a part of my life, but I do encourage prayer. I encourage meditation, and I also encourage the Bible. I encourage reading scripture. So with that said, I want to thank you for being with me here over the next 30 minutes. Laura, welcome. This is episode number 50, by the way. I've kind of lost track of being in and out. I've lost track a little bit, but this is episode number 50. So I'm excited. I'm excited to learn a little bit more, kind of tap into what we have to share here about the subconscious and accelerated growth. And man, I don't know about you, over the last few weeks, I've been really just kind of super duper challenged, man. I really have. But we keep going forward, right? We must keep going forward. We must keep going forward. Gorilla, thank you for being here. Good afternoon. And I see there's a few other people. I'm not sure if they are going to show up. I want to ask you guys a question. Gorilla Gas Bike says transformation is mind over matter. Is it possible? Is it possible to accelerate transformation? Is it possible to create faster growth in our individual lives? Is that possible? That's good. Of course, we already know the answer. I'm going to wait on maybe one or two of you here. I see what Gorilla has to say. I do believe transformation is mind over matter. And Laura, welcome. Let's see who else is on here. Come on, guys, get involved with me here. Let's learn something. Let's tap into some. Let's tap into something here that we normally do not speak to about on a daily basis, right? How often do you sit and you speak to your friend or coworkers about your subconscious? What is the subconscious? You know, what is the subconscious? Is it possible to accelerate? Gorilla says, is it possible to accelerate transformation? Yes, if you can accept the pain of discipline. Well, that is true because there is discipline involved in change, right? Now, I'm asking you guys a question, Laura, if you wanna chime in, if you want to partake here of this, is it possible? Is it you know, people, we live in a society, we live in a society today that we're all looking. In fact, if we're not careful, we fall into this trap every once in a while ourselves. We're always looking for that quick fix, right? This 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 thought, this philosophy that great things take time and discipline and hard work is eluding us, is getting further and further away from us. Have you noticed that? I mean, we're like looking for the pill, right? The quick fix pill. And sadly, I listened to a couple of scholars. I call them scholars, doctors, Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza, among many, and they talk about the placebo effect that has gripped our society. And I know I'm probably going to step into some controversy here. Maybe not with you guys. Yumoto, welcome to the program, but maybe on the internet that the majority of people that are taking prescription drugs, and I'm not saying that prescription drugs are bad, okay? I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that there is a lot of research talking about the placebo that we, because of the way that we've been created, the creator created the human mind and our nervous system and our bodies, that we can actually heal ourselves most of the time. Not all the time, not all the time, but there are good percentages that if we learn to understand how the mind operates and what the subconscious is all about and how we retrain ourselves, that we can actually create healing. And there's been cases of people that have been healed from cancer, from multiple sclerosis, from dementia, from diabetes. I mean, it's out there. It's out on the internet. There's a lot of research. Of course, we're not going to believe everything we read about. But I tend to look at myself, right? We got to look at ourselves individually. You know how you live. You know what you experience in your lifetime. And you can tell whether something is bullshit or not. You can typically tell. But I'm a firm believer that we can heal ourselves, or we can actually cause an illness by our own thinking process. So welcome to the episode. Stay tough. Let me see if Yumoto says taking action is necessary, and that is the barrier that prevents us from transformation. Taking action is necessary, and that's something that I'm bringing up in my topic today. Why is it so difficult for some people to accelerate change? Why is it so difficult for us to take action when we know that we should be taking action? Why is it that we sabotage ourselves when we do take action and that action is very short-lived? Why? What does all of this have to do with the subconscious or with your conscious mind? And let me see. Hello, Tough. Stay Tough says hello, Santos and everyone. By the way, this is episode number 50. We're going to be here a very short period of time. I'm encouraging you, Laura, Gorilla, Yumoto, you guys, I'm encouraging you guys to participate here with me. Laura says, well, quitting going to casinos was hard, but I prayed to hate them. Exactly. Prayer is a life hack. Prayer is a tool. It's an exercise that we can all take advantage of. It's a gift that's been given to you and I. Now, just because we pray doesn't mean that every prayer is going to get answered. it will get answered, but maybe not in the way that we might want it to be answered. There's always a lot of mysteries in the universe. There's always God is a mysterious God. He's because we can't put our finger on him. The mastermind that holds this universe together, the mastermind that operates through space and time. In fact, right now, your subconscious is at work. I might as well bring this up to our attention. Your subconscious is at work and you're not even realizing that it's working. Now you're realizing because I'm bringing it to your attention. Your subconscious, your mind, your biology is actually making your heart pump, right? It's making your lungs expand and contract. You've got blood that's traveling. You've got cells. What is it? 50 trillion. This is number I'm not too sure about. 50 trillion cells that are moving around in your body. Some are dying, some are coming to life, some are regenerating. How is all of this stuff happening? And it's coming from basically our subconscious, because right now you and I are engaged in thinking. So we are engaging our conscious mind. Our active mind is operating right now. But see, a few seconds ago, I took us into the subconscious to kind of make us aware of something. And in fact, this is very powerful. There was a French psychologist back in the 1800s. His name was Pierre Janet. And he coined this phrase. I guess he was the one of the persons that coined the phrase, under the surface, under the layers, the critical mind, the subconscious mind. His name was Pierre Janet back in the 1800s. And this information is in the Wikipedia. Now, the function of the subconscious is to share and to retrieve data. It works on autopilot too. Now, again, this is going to be a little bit controversial. I'm going to do my very best to keep it at 30 minutes. I really want you guys to chime in. Let me know what you think. What do you think the subconscious is? And why is it so hard to get the subconscious to cooperate with us? Because that's where your habits are stored. Your habits are, you made a decision some time ago, or maybe it was an experience that you had as a child that was basically instituted into your subconscious, because between the ages of 0 and 7, those are very, very key learning years. If you are raised in an environment where it's very healthy, the likelihood is that you'll probably grow up to be a pretty good, decent human being. Not in all cases. If you grow up in an environment that is constantly fighting and bickering and domestic violence and fear and trauma, well, guess what? Your subconscious is going to be a little bit not prepared properly for the years going forward, as in my case. This is what I have found in my own life through some of the habits, addictions, and traumas that I have had to overcome, and I still work at on a daily basis. Things that are trapped. Remember earlier I said that the function of the subconscious is to store and to retrieve data. Most of the time, we're not even aware that we're operating under the subconscious or through the subconscious, because of the fact that we don't train ourselves on a daily basis. Now, if you begin to learn something from this study that we're having today, if you begin to practice the fact of becoming more consciously aware of what's going on inside your head, that's the practice of sitting down. And of course, there's a lot more involved in here. I'm kind of condensing a little bit here. I'm not going to get too much into life hacks, but we're talking about how to deal with your human mind. And you basically besiege yourself. And I'm sure that you've experienced that. You want to move in a certain direction, but what happens? You don't end up going in that direction, right? You try to change a habit. Maybe you've tried with another habit. And of course, you can do that, right? You can transfer, but it is a work. Gorilla said earlier, I believe it was either Gorilla Yumoto, talked about the discipline of work. Why is change so difficult for many? Because it takes work, my friend. It takes work. Your subconscious is operating on its own. And in order for you to create change, now I'm not saying that you can create, there's other ways to create change, but ultimately it boils down to getting into the subconscious area of your mind and making some changes there. You've got a pattern that's operating, right? How do you change that pattern if it's under the surface? If it's that's why it's called the subconscious, right? I want to see what I get from you guys here. I want to see if I get some input. I'm over here talking a little bit. So Yumoto says, look for the good in others. What we will find it. Look for the parking spot. You will find it. Focus. The reticular activating system. You're mentioning something here that's called the RAS. This is something that we hear about, the reticular activating system. When you focus on certain things that you want, you end up finding, like if you're in the parking lot, right? If you focus on the parking up front, you'll generally find one, or you'll see a car that's moving. You notice sometimes you go into a parking lot and it maybe in the past you've said you parked way far away because maybe you just simply said, there's probably no parking up front, so I'll just park here, right? The reticular activating system is like it's kind of a guidance system. When that's operating in your mind, when that's operating, you tend to focus and you tend to find the things that you want. So yes, Anthony Robbins talks a lot about the RAS. Those affirmations will help. Okay, Nancy Bogart. Welcome to episode number 50, Nancy. I don't know where you're from. I'd love to learn where you're from, Nancy. Maybe you can tell us a little bit. I just want my money back from them, from the casinos, I imagine. Well, let me see. Yumoto also says, fear and dealing with discomfort is major, and we need to brainwash our thinking to say, this is great, and I love this challenge. It feels great. Yes, we need to definitely, we do need some personal brainwashing. That's one of the reasons why I talk about personal self-talk. I mean, how do you talk to yourself in the morning when you get up? How are you talking to yourself throughout the day? You know, how are you talking to yourself when things are great? How do you talk to yourself when things are not so great? We have to, there's a battle going on. Earlier, I read in the scriptures there in Galatians about the flesh and the spirit, right? There's a battle going on. We could call it the subconscious. We can call it the conscious thinking. We can call it spirit. We can call it flesh. In the little red book that I wrote, I spoke about a parable of an Indian that has a good wolf and a bad wolf living inside. That's how he looks at life, like as if he has two wolves living inside, one good one and one bad one. And the question is presented to him, which one wins if they're both battling each other? The one that I feed the most. So whatever you feed the most, whatever it is that you feed the most is definitely going to win in your life. Correct? I believe that to be correct. Now, how are habits formed? Because that's the problem with most people. Most people are living a lifestyle that is basically on autopilot, and that autopilot is basically being, it's coming from the subconscious. And what is in the subconscious? Habits, patterns of behavior that we have done over and 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 over until it just basically becomes your nature, your body. Even it's almost like you program your body. They're even saying, I know Dr. Joe Dispenza and I believe Dr. Bruce Lipton also says this, that the body begins to operate on its own. I still believe it's tied to the subconscious because we do things on autopilot. We brush our teeth, we put on our shoes, we put on socks, we put on underwear, we make food, we there's all kinds of things that we do. It's just automatic. Where's all that information coming from? It's coming from your subconscious. So if your bad habits are coming from your subconscious, how are we going to deal with it? What are we going to do in order to accelerate growth? In how do we change? How do we change? How do we get into the subconscious if it's under the layer? If it's under the layers, it's not your conscious thinking, right? It's underneath. How do we get in there? How do we change that area of our lives? Because that's where the battle lies. It's right here. See, your patterns of living won't change. In fact, you've heard me say this before, that the mindset, the lifestyle that has brought you to where you are today, if you're not completely satisfied, if you're not happy, if you're not making progress, that mindset, that lifestyle that got you to where you are today is not going to get you to where you need to be, right? Would you agree with that? So let's get into this. Yumoto, again, I don't know if I'm losing people here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe am I boring? Am I boring you guys? Maybe I'm becoming more boring. I don't know. My Jewish friend says God leaves a message in events, and it is our job to find the positive message and learning. It can be hard. It can be hard, and we need to be patient and meditate on and ask, how does this help me? Questions. You're making a reference to questions there, Yumoto. That's a very good insight, because it questions. When we learn to ask ourselves the right questions through the experiences that we go through in life, we learn, and we can apply, and we can also create accelerated growth. Also, if we just live our lives right, we go to work every day. We're on autopilot. We've been working the same job for 10 years. We get up, we drive the same car, we go to the same gas station, we come home about the same time, we get in traffic about the same. We're all on autopilot. You notice that when you're on autopilot, you're daydreaming too. You ever notice that? You're on the freeway and your mind begins to wander off. You're still driving, you're on autopilot, and your mind begins to wander off. Maybe you're thinking about that bill that you didn't pay, or maybe you're thinking about that jackpot that you hit last week at the casino, right? But you're fighting, man, I don't want to go back. Your mind is wandering, you're driving. And then all of a sudden you get back to reality. Man, what just happened? Boom. See, those are the times that we really need to become consciously aware of what's going on, because it's at those times that we can begin to really make an impact. Now, we're already at the end of this program. I'm going to share a couple of things that can help you, if you're interested, to accelerate your growth. Okay. Now, again, this is a work. This is a little bit of a discipline. Okay. And I'm going to share this with you because I've got like 2 pages of notes here that I took. And obviously, I'm not going to keep this program too much more longer. But how do we interrupt the old, right? We talked about well, I did ask the question, for instance, how is a habit formed? And I did talk about that. So if we know that bad habits are formed through repetition, we also know that good habits are formed through repetition. And the more that you expose yourself to that repetition, it could be you could do it through different ways, or simply just doing one thing over and over, right? Reading a book over and over. I have this thing that I've started. It's called 15-minute mornings. Take 15 minutes out of your morning, just 15 minutes out of your morning. Have something laid out for yourself. Have a few goals to ponder. Maybe have a little scripture, have a proverb. Maybe have a 2-minute video that you watch in that 15-minute window, all right? Or you can take 7 or 8 minutes and simply close your eyes and visualize yourself doing something. This is another way that you can actually get into your subconscious, by repetitive visualization. This is very, very powerful, and it's priceless, because the more that you do it, the more your mind doesn't know the difference between a practiced visualization or the real thing. Your mind does not know the difference. So if you practice something enough, say you took 14 days, right? 15 minutes out of those 14 days every morning for 14 days, and you laid out a little plan for yourself, and you basically took your will, you force yourself to do this, because it does take force. It's not going to happen on its own. After 14 days, do you believe that that would make a difference in your life? Repeated activity, a certain activity, something that you want to achieve, something that you want to create, something that you want to do. Sports athletes, business owners, meditation people, yoga people, people that do martial arts, they all do this. They all have this sort of a practice, and that's why they are good at what they do. I've been working on this on myself, and I'll tell you honestly, this is one of the reasons why I was able to crush problem gambling. In fact, I've done it so many times. You know, the visualization, the power of using my will, mirror talks, video therapy, journaling, writing, self-talk, coaching and mentoring, and also taking risks. I've experimented so much with that honestly, I don't even know what really changed me. It was a combination of all of those things. But I can tell you that somehow I was able to get into my subconscious and break that pattern of gambling, because I don't even really think about it anymore. I mean, it didn't go away on its own. It did not go away on its own. And I was able to do that in a matter of months. In a matter of months. And I had been trying for many years to break the cycle of gambling. I couldn't do it. And within a matter of months and weeks, the stuff that I teach you guys in my videos, that's why I tell you guys, you know, a lot of people laugh at me. A lot of people think that maybe I'm whatever, it doesn't matter. But you know what matters is that I have freaking crushed gambling. And I have also overcome many other areas of my life. Fear, rejection, all these other things that were tied in from my childhood, things that were operating in my subconscious. And I still have areas. I haven't perfected it. There's no perfection. I still work on myself. That's one of the reasons why I do this program. How do we interrupt the old? We got to train. And I'll tell you, I'm going to end here, and then I'm going to give you guys the floor. There's something called brain waves. There's beta, there's alpha, there's theta, there's delta, and there's gamma. Beta is the mindset that you have when you're waking up. You're kind of that groggy, that drowsy. You're kind of in and out of consciousness, you know. And then alpha is the relaxed state. Like right now, we're in a relaxed state. Hopefully you are. I know I am. And these are times of that you can actually accelerate your learning. You can actually put yourself in these states also. Now, during the day, we're busy. There's a lot of stuff that we must get done. And I understand that we can't just, you know, do a lot of this, but you can take 15 minutes out in the morning. You could take another 15 minutes out in the evening before you go to bed. You have a lunch time, and I'm sure that you have other breaks in between. You can use your time very wisely, or you can use your time very unwisely. And I'm learning more and more that we have to absolutely become very critical about what's going on in our head. We need to understand the patterns, right? These patterns. When is my subconscious kicking in? When is my conscious thinking kicking in? Right now, it's our conscious mind, right? We're thinking. But the moment we start talking about the subconscious, the moment we start talking about a memory, right? A stored memory from way back, we can go back and think about a memory where you got hurt or where you went through some kind of a trauma. Right now, you're already seeing that in your mind. See, that's your subconscious. When we learn how to operate in these states and we learn how to manipulate positively, the beta state and the alpha state, two of the best times that you can actually watch videos, do some journaling, read book, and reprogram yourself. And even just sit and visualize. Just sit and visualize and see yourself going through the motions. See yourself talking. See yourself facing these individuals. See yourself facing whatever it is that you need to be facing. I'm telling you, visualization is extremely powerful, my friend. So I said everything that I wanted to share. I'm not going to say anymore. This is my encouragement to you guys this week. Start your 15-minute mornings. If you haven't been, maybe you slacked off, pick it back up, start doing it. Get yourself in a pattern of doing something for yourself. Man, you know how easily we can beat ourselves up because of our past mistakes. Whatever you do, my friend, do not, if you can't fix something, don't try to fix it. Fix what you can fix. There are some things in your life because of what you've gone through that maybe you may not be able to get to it for a year or two if we're still here, because we don't know what tomorrow may bring. So my friend, it's all about just looking at yourself and looking at where you want to go, having a plan. I wrote this on my board. You probably can't see it. Prioritize, organize, plan, set goals, execute. Don't talk to me about excuses. I'm tired of my own excuses. Hopefully you are too. So with that said, if you guys want to ask a question, there's something that you want to share, we're going to close the program down here, and I will see you on my next one. By the way, if you're encouraged by this video, share it on another social media site. I would encourage you to help me help other people. When we help other people, we're paying it forward. Our help comes back to us. I'm encouraging you to donate financially. I have another book that I'm going to be coming out with, the three of life's most important questions. That's going to be on Amazon. I'm working on that. The Problem Gambling Breakthrough Academy. If you're stuck in life, if you're stuck and you don't know what to do with yourself, enroll in the Problem Gambling Breakthrough Academy. It's fairly easy to use, and it's a step-by-step guidance system. It's what it is. It's a step-by-step, and it will give you results. Again, if you're willing to work it. So, Yumoto says, that's good. Excuses are trash. Exactly. Yes, let's be all intentional about focusing on our thinking. Nancy says, boyfriend took me, started my addiction. Yeah, Nancy, you might have gone with your boyfriend, and I agree. We get influenced by other people. Like, hopefully I've influenced you in the right way today here. I believe I have. But we have to come to a point where we have to take full responsibility. If we're going to make changes, if we're going to make a difference, if we're going to impact our world in some way, it has to be you. It has to be individual. You have to learn to forgive yourself, forgive those that have wronged you, forgive yourself for wronging others. You have to learn to, when was the last time that you looked in the mirror and said, you know what, I love you? When was the last time that you looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I love you? Well, what's the big deal with that? Try it and see what happens to you. Try it once or twice or 3 times, and then make it a habit of telling yourself that you love yourself. It's kind of hard to love other people if you don't love yourself. People say, well, I don't need a plan for my life. I don't need to write anything down. I don't, I got it all in my head. Okay. Well, then, how are you doing? If you're successful and you're where you want to be in life, then you've got it together, then that's good. That's great for you. That doesn't work for me. I have to plan. I have to put a to-do list and a not to-do list together. I have to visualize. I have to do 15-minute mornings if I want to truly become successful and make some some things happen for myself and make a difference for my family, make a difference for my children. I have to make the difference. Anyways, I'm already preaching. So whoever wants to share. I went to casinos to escape my job in a way. That's what we all do. We look for escapes. And then sadly to say, they bite us in the rear end. They take a chunk out of our butt. That's what happens. I got tired of walking around with dimples in my rear end, I guess. That's right. Need to write things down and read and review and take action, Yumoto says. I have that problem. I don't write and plan and review. Well, I tell you, my friend, it's going to make a huge difference. Cephas Top, you're looking great and vibrant, Chief. Planning is essential. I'm going to make the difference. Hey, there's my partner, Cephas. Welcome to the last of the episode. We're finishing up. This is episode number 50, my friend. So I was mentioning earlier before I started the broadcast, talking about the subconscious, that we are preparing a mastermind group. It's going to have some accelerated learning, some techniques on self-empowerment. Cephas is going to be a part of that. We're working on that, and if hopefully I'll hear from some of you that participated in this episode via email if it's something that you're interested in. Going forward, my friends, 2019. So, like I said, the program's ended. I'm willing to answer a few questions. Here, let me see. Yumoto says, I listened to this guy say you become disciplined by being moderate in the change you want to see happen. Well, Anthony Robbins, he talks about moderation, and he talks about also, what is it that he talks about? When to cause accelerate, we basically, it's like we dive into the pool completely over and over and over and over. You do it over and over until it becomes your second nature to you. It becomes a habit, right? We reprogram the subconscious. That's what we want. Our subconscious is already, it's like a record that's playing. I'm preaching. Subconscious is like a record that's playing, right? It's playing behind the scenes. We don't even know it's playing. Every once in a while we catch it. Oh yeah, I caught it. The record was playing. So what do? We got to get a new record to play in there. We got to get into the subconscious, right? Through repetition, through different life hacks. Especially, as I said, at the beta wave state. Beta, B-E-T-A, at the beta wave state of mind, that is a good time to reprogram. And the alpha state, which is a relaxed state upon going to bed, or as I said, you're sitting down in a state of meditation and you've got the music, you've got your book, whatever it is, that is a place where you can cause accelerated learning. Again, it has to be through repetition though, right? Through repetition. Thanks, Cephas. Let me see. He says, bum the boats. Bum the boats. Anthony Robbins says, do it or die. Burn the boats. And says that you got to do it. Exactly. My friends, the truth is that change is not going to come naturally. I mean, our bodies are going to go through changes, right? Our bodies, biologically, genetically, we are going to go through changes. The world is going through, our government is going through changes. Our family, our children are going through changes because that's part of life. But if we want to create the change that we want to see every day, that is a different form of discipline. That is where you basically, you must do your homework, right? You must go to get yourself a life coach, get yourself a mentor, read the book over and over, do the affirmations, get in front of the mirror, visualize, do your 15-minute mornings. 15-minute mornings will literally change your life. 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. It's all about recreating new habits and getting into the conscious. So, all right, my friends, with that said, peace through strength. Remember to share, give, be kind to somebody, smile as much as possible. Listen to people, listen to your family, listen to your spouse, right? We don't know it all. There's always room for improvement within room for improvement, my friend. I will catch you next Sunday or possibly on Friday night, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on your channel, Soldiers of Self-Mastery. Let me see. Laura says, I didn't think I could stop, like hopeless, but then things changed. I wanted it. Exactly. Thanks, Santos. See you next Sunday. Live it, baby. How's your pee-pee? Well, as long as it's functioning, that's what's important, right? How's your pee-pee? Live it, be, or live it, baby, right? You're very welcome. I want to thank all of you guys that were a part of this episode tonight. Walk away with something. Put it to practice, my friends. I will see you on the next video at the top on the inside, making every day super fantastic, terrific, and over the top in spite of and because of. I did go to be with him, then I gave him my money, all my stuff. Well, Nancy, I'm sure you are a smart cookie. You are a smart person. I don't think you're going to be doing that anymore from this point forward, right? You don't want to do that. Take control. Take control. Seize the moment. Work on your subconscious. Change the record. Change your life. Peace.